What's going on, everyone? So in today's video, as you guys already can see, I'm going to be talking about link summoning explained in detail. I'm going to give you guys everything you need to know about how to properly link summon and take advantage of the link mechanic. So like I always tell you guys, without further ado, let's begin. Starting out by saying, now the reason I want to make this video is because I know there's a ton of other link videos on YouTube. When link summoning first got announced, they were all over the site. But with that being said, people were kind of unclear with their statements on link summoning, and new rules was rolling out around the same time. So in this video, I'm going to give you guys everything that Konami has announced for link summoning for the TCG, and talk about a little bit what the OCG has done. So let's begin. You guys can see right here behind me on the green screen, I have the Konami rulebook pulled up, and in this new rulebook is for the link summoning mechanic. Someone's going to read over what it says and explain that in detail to you. So, it has right here, Link Monsters. A Link Monster is a new kind of monster with the ability to increase the number of monsters you can summon from your extra deck, in addition to one extra monster zone. You can also summon monsters from the extra deck to any of your main monster zones that has a Link Monster's red arrow pointing to it. Now, what this pretty much means is, prior to link summoning, you can just spam out extra decks to the field just by going to your extra deck. Now, in order to spam out your extra deck monsters to the field, your extra deck cards have to first go to the main monster zone, which is the link, not the main monster zone, the link monster zone, the extra monster zone pretty much. And then if you bring out a link monster in that monster zone, and the link monster has arrows, you can bring out your extra deck monster only to the arrow pointing zones. So this was supposed to be a way for Konami to slow Yu-Gi-Oh down and reset it back to the 2004, 2003 format that we all loved as children. Because back then, let's face the fact, we didn't have a lot of the extra deck monsters on. So pretty much, for this part, the main takeaway is extra deck monsters can only be placed in the extra monster zone. If you place a link monster in that monster zone, you can, based on that link monster's arrows that they have in the cards, you guys can see for Decode Talker, you can place additional extra deck monsters in those zones. It also says link arrows. A link monster can apply its effects on cards or zones that's lit up red arrows point to. When a link monster's red arrow points to a monster, those monsters are linked. When two link monsters have red arrows that point to each other, they are co-linked. Link materials. These are link materials you need to summon the monster. You use this recipe printer here to summon a link monster. So it's pointing to the area where it says link right there, where the materials you need. Link rating. This is the number of arrows it has and a number of monsters needed to summon it. So it's telling you the link materials that you need to bring it out, and it's tell you the number of monsters needed to summon it. For example, it says link 3 for Decode Talker, so it pretty much says in detail you need 3 monsters to bring out a Decode Talker. Now on the other side of the screen right here, it says how to link summon. Check the materials of the link monster you want to summon. During your main phase, declare that you are link summoning. Send a number of face-up monsters from your field to the graveyard equal to the number of link rating of that link monster. They must also match the requirements listed in the monster's recipe written on the card. Place the link monster from your extra deck in the extra monster zone, one or of your main monster zones that another link monster is pointed to. So it's pretty much elaborating on how when you bring out a link summon monster, you put it in the extra monster zone and or in a zone that the link arrow is pointed to. As you guys can see right here, I'm pointing to the arrow with Decode Talker and bringing out monsters from right here. So pretty cool example how you're supposed to. And it has right here listed, if 2 extra monster zones are available, you can choose either one to summon your monster. If there's a link monster already in the field, you can link summon a monster in one of your zones it's pointed to. So pretty much elaborating just everything else I said. Now, the Konami rulebook that we're going to need in the TCG that's coming out next week, it also has additional stuff for link monster, talking about link monster bonuses. Now, this is the last portion of the rulebook that's going to have that talk about link monsters. Link monster bonuses. Special summon to main monster zones. Monsters special summon from an extra deck normally have to go in the extra monster zone, But link monsters open up zones for you to use, because every main monster zone that a link monster points to can also be used to summon monsters from your extra deck. Monsters that start in the extra deck but later end up in the graveyard are banished and are summoned from there, also go to the main monster zone, and you do not need a link monster to get them there. So pretty much saying, once you properly bring out a extra deck monster to the main monster zone, let's say if it dies, when it comes back to the main monster zone. A great example of this card would be, for example, Cyframe Lord Omega, where you bring it out to the extra monster zone, you use this effect to banish him, he returns to the regular monster card zone, allowing you to take advantage of the link mechanic. Link monsters already in the field make great materials. Normally one monster equals one link material, but when you use a link monster as material for another link summon, you can count it as either one monster or as a number of monsters equal to its link rating. For example, if you want to link summon a link 3 monster that requires 2 or more materials in its recipe, you can either use 3 monsters for the material or use a link 2 that monster counts as 2 materials and the second monster counts as material. So right here you can use the 3 monsters to bring out Decode Talker, or you can use this link monster right here that has a material of 2, and this one monster I can't tell of to bring Decode Talker. So it's telling you how to bring out monsters like Decode Talker with high links very easy. So just think about it. You can bring out it with 3 monsters, or if you have a monster with a link of 3 and it requires link 6, it cuts that in half pretty much. And more about link monsters. Link monsters have no defense and cannot ever be in defense position. They can be changed to defense position by a card effect. They can't even be flipped face up, face down. So cards like that Tyranno card from the dinosaur deck that puts your opponent's entire field face down will not work on link monsters. Book of Moon will not work on link monsters. Things of that nature. Things like that are to think about. If your opponent has a monster in the extra monster zone, it's still a monster they control, so you can't attack directly. You have to battle and destroy all their monsters first, including the one in the extra monster zone. If you take control of your opponent's monster in the extra deck, in the extra monster zone, it moves to your main monster zone. When it goes back to your opponent, it goes to their main monster zone, not the extra monster zone. As long as the materials meet the requirements of the link monster you want to summon, you can use a token or a trap card that is treated as a monster for the link material. Remember, when you link summon, you need to meet 3 goals. The amount of materials you use for the matches, the link rating, link monsters count, or one of their own link rating. The number of materials you use meets the requirements specified in the link materials or recipe. The materials match any requirements in the materials line or any effect monster specific type. So you can use tokens for link summoning. But let's say, for example, if the link monster says, like the new Spiral card that will use 2 Spiral monsters, if you don't have a Spiral token, you cannot do it. So yeah, and even some link monsters in the OCG will also state cannot use tokens. So yeah, tokens can be lit. Cards like Scapegoat can be used in a link extra deck and etc. So really great. Main takeaway from this part though, if you take control of one of your opponent's link monsters in their extra monster zone, they go back to their main monster zone. So in the OCG, a lot of players are utilizing cards like Mind Control, which helps the link deck out, because for one, you can mind control an opponent's monster, link it up, and if you have an opponent's monster who's screwing you over like a Decode Talker, if they can't negate your card effect with their Decode Talker, or if you bait the negate, you can take their Decode Talker, use the link for your advantage. So Mind Control is another card to take advantage of in the link mechanic. Now, outside of this is what TCG has, because the rulebook goes into pendulum monsters, as you guys can see right here. OCG has something called taking advantage of extra link. Now, I was surprised that the TCG did not talk about extra link, but that does not mean we won't have extra link rules in the TCG. So I guess they probably felt like they didn't want to confuse people, but I wanted you guys who do not know about extra link to take advantage of it. So extra link is pretty much linking the entire zone that you guys can see right here. And let me just read what it says. This is off of Yugioh organization, coming straight out of the OCG rulebook. Use both extra monster zones by mutual linking. When every monster from one extra monster zone all the way to the other extra monster zone has the monsters that are linked with each other, that's known as the extra link. This is the only way a player can use both extra monster zones, pretty much locking your opponent out of the duel. So this is one thing a lot of players hate about the link mechanic in general, is that essentially if you have the right first turn play and you can be stopped by your opponent, you can lock your opponent out of the extract, which is pretty nutty in my opinion. Bring out a monster to the extra monster zone. Normally you can use only one extra monster zone, but if bringing out a monster in the other extra monster zone will complete the extra link, you may use the extra monster zone to do so. So essentially it has an example right here of how you can complete the extra link. So overall, if your opponent slips up or if you open up the best hand turn 1, you can completely just auto link against your opponent. So that's one of the pros and cons of the link mechanic, which I personally do not like, but hey, that's Yu-Gi-Oh! Then it also goes more into detail about extra link. A situation in which 2 link monsters in each extra monster zone are mutual link with the monsters in the main monster zone. You can use the other extra monster zone if you already occupied extra monster zone with a link monster, and summoning a link monster in the extra monster zone would be complete extra link. A situation in which every monster considering the connecting the 2 extra monster zone are mutual link with each other is known as the extra link. Your 2 monsters being connected by each other mutual linking, using your opponent's monster zone as extra link. And right here just gives you one example, AB, AB. Essentially, have all the arrows pointing to the other zone and you're fine. And all of this is being linked, mutual link, and it goes more into depth about being linked and mutual linking. A monster is at the zone pointed by a link monster, one of my monsters pointing to the monsters. This is pretty much revitalizing everything we talked about in TCG, but the main takeaway that I wanted to talk about on the OCG side is the extra linking and mutual linking. That's something the TCG did not talk about in their rule book, but I'm pretty sure it'll get brought up at YCSs, regionals, etc. So, with all that being said, I hope this video was helpful. And if you guys thought I missed something, post that in the comment section down below. And yeah, man, if you're a new viewer to the channel, I would love for you to subscribe for more. If you guys want your own custom cloth playmat, check out my sponsors, MetaMat, link in the description below. You can get any image you guys want printed on a cloth playmat, and that includes a link monster playmat. So if you guys have a link monster playmat, for example, that's customized that you like, check out MetaMats, they can make that for you. So yeah, man, this is Chris from Innovation Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm signing out. Peace, guys, stay innovative. Deuces.